I have 7 maps. They start easy, but progressively get harder and harder. But in order to progress to the next map, you have to hit a point threshold, starting at 15k and ending with the perfect score. Good luck.
Hello everyone, welcome to the video. You heard what Rainbolt said, so let's see if we can beat every challenge that he and JHK worked on for me. Should be very fun, and the first map here we have to get 15,000 points on an ordinary road. So theoretically an easy one, but it is an NPZ, so you never know. First one here looks like Europe, right? I mean, just the texture of the road, the fact that it's got no markings on it, definitely strikes me as more European than anything else. We also have a wind turbine here, which I would associate definitely more with Western Europe, but you could see it around the place for sure. For example, Romania in Eastern Europe has a bunch of them. I was thinking maybe like Netherlands is possible here. I was also thinking like maybe Hungary or Poland or something like that. So what do I actually like the best here? I would say that a lot of the vegetation does kind of feel a little more southern, but it is definitely hard to say. I think I'll go for the Hungary idea, but 15k, it shouldn't be too hard. And it was just Netherlands. Okay, we only get 2,000 points for that. Okay, wait. It's not too bad. We're still chilling. We can afford to drop 10,000 points here, but obviously 2,000 points per round would not be enough. So we do need to get more points on rounds like this, for example, where we should just be in South Africa. We got the double yellow lines on the outside with the white center lines. This will be South Africa. So out in the middle of nowhere, probably towards Carnarvon, Williston, something like that. And we're going south-southwest. So maybe a road like this. I guess the R27 would probably be a good shout here. I'm going to go for that, I reckon. And it was the R27. So that one, much more on the easy side, and it makes life a lot easier already. This just looks like Russia to me. I mean, I could definitely see an argument for US or Canada here, but just the background here and these poles definitely feel more Russian. In fact, I'm relatively confident on it. So whereabouts is much more challenging. I don't think it's all the way east, and it's quite flat, so it does limit our possibilities. I was thinking maybe Chelyabinsk, otherwise just somewhere around here. Probably Kazan area is the good hedge we can do here to be quite safe, but yeah, I don't know. I could definitely see Chelyabinsk. Maybe I hedge towards it. I'll just go for this, I think. And it was Chelia. But again, 3,000 points, we should be absolutely chilling. We only need 5,000 more in the next 2 rounds, and we only have to average 2,500 for that reason. Next one here, it looked to me like this road here, the A6. It's going east, slightly southeast, which would obviously fit for this road, but could it be a different Queensland road? I'm not very good at the Queensland roads. We could play it safe and guess on the A2 here, because obviously that kind of hedges for the whole state. And to be honest, I feel like the A6 normally has poles along it, so I actually might just do that tactic and guess on the A2 here. And it was just the A6. Well, you know, as I said, we're absolutely chilling here because the last one here is North America with this pole top. And so, yeah, we can just slam it in here and get our 15k points. In the end, just 17k. So we definitely didn't pass with flying colors, but that's okay because we're through here to the next map, which is requiring us to get a 17.5k, this time on no move. So potentially a bit harder of a map given that fact. And we're starting off here in Japan with a very unique looking roof. Look at this. This is made of metal, which is pretty uncommon in Japan, especially this kind of metal. But let's see if we have any regional clues, because we know Japan is just filled with regional clues for the most part, and we don't really have much. But yeah, most of the roofs are actually metal, so that would indicate more north in the country to me. Over on this pole, nothing. The red stripe on this bollard does mean something, but I've forgotten what. Yeah, all in all, I don't know. This tree feels coastal to me, which is not very helpful in Japan, of course. But I'm gonna go northern and slightly upwards, maybe Niigata or something like that here, I think could work pretty nicely. And it was actually even further north there, but all things considered, 4,200 is definitely enough on a map like this to get our score required. These red mountains in the background here, they feel something like Utah or something like that. Number plates here, not helpful, I would say. This number plate here, I'm not too sure what that is. Like, it almost looks like a Colorado plate. Could be over the border in Colorado, to be fair. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure here. The angle of the mountain there is to our north, so this is a pretty substantial northern range. It does remind me of the type of things you get in these towns here, like maybe Blanding could look like this. I could see that. Are we on a north-south grid? We are. So maybe Blanding's actually not a bad shout here. What do people always talk about? They always talk about Moab. I think Moab doesn't quite look like this, I want to say. Is there a river there? I mean, a river could make some sense, but yeah, I'm not really feeling it. East is pretty flat. And yeah, that doesn't fit for Moab. Does it fit for Blanding? It does. I might go for the Blanding idea. I don't half mind it. Maybe it's a little cold for Blanding would be my only concern here. But yeah, those mountains are pretty red. I'm gonna give it a go here. And it was in that area, actually up towards Tory here. So definitely comfortably getting there so far. And the next one here is actually Australia, I suppose. Or actually, no, we got a yellow lines here. It's New Zealand, but that looks like an Australian flag. It looks like it has white stars. So I doubt it is, but it looked like it. Yellow tag on the pole doesn't really mean much to me. me here. Firth Tower. Where would that be? Firth Tower Museum. Okay. Got the black car. Yeah, I'm not too sure. What about a fence? Like, a fence is often what you can use in New Zealand to determine what island you're in. And we sadly have no proper fences here. This is a very unorthodox fence, which I would not use as a proper clue. In which case, it's kind of difficult. East Ridge here. Does this look like the North or the South Island? I'm not even sure, to be honest. Probably more the North Island, I guess. I'm just gonna go for that. Our scores are already good enough that I feel relatively confident here, so let's just go. And okay, what's the North Island? So again, averaging 4K, we only really need to average like 3.7 something, so yeah, we're chilling here. Here we have the 22 area code. Okay, so 22 area code would put us around Rio de Janeiro. I think it's like just the next city over here, maybe this one, if I remember correctly. I'm not exactly sure. Landscape-wise, pretty flat here. We're probably not gonna get any place name, but again, like that's gonna guarantee us enough score that I'll just send it here. And it was even further east, yeah. I should really remember those by now. And yeah, we already exceeded the threshold here, so we can just go for Poland, and it was Hungary. And it really doesn't matter. We got 21.9 there. So let's head through to the next one here, looking down at the world below. So we're probably gonna be from high vantage points here, which means we at least get landscape. And that is the case. Okay, first one here, and we look down onto an Indian landscape here with the language. I would say that this is actually, what's it called? Tamil. Now that language in the background there, could that be another one? It almost doesn't feel as much like Tamil. It almost feels more Malayalam, or maybe it's just a font. Maybe it's just a different font of Tamil. Could it actually be Kannada? Kannada you don't get to see on the map. For some reason they just write everything in Latin, so it's harder to say, but I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I hope not anyway. Okay, so if we are looking northeast, then we're going to be on a hill range like this, looking down onto flat fields. I mean, this first one I've clicked looks really good. I'm almost tempted to just go for it because, like, what else would it be? There are other options, definitely. But to look north onto a flat landscape like this just simply makes a lot of sense. I'm honestly just going to go for it. I feel kind of confident that it's on these hills here. I guess I'll go on Manish Farms. There are definitely options, but yeah, I like this one. And okay, it's further up. Man, I didn't think we had mountains west of us like that, but to be fair, we couldn't see too much. It's a good enough score to get 20K so far. And this one, I think I immediately know. So Lake Balaton is the biggest lake in Hungary, and I've definitely seen this kind of pavement and these kind of crops along the side of it. Now, I'm not sure we're there, so let's see what angle we have. So if we look kind of south, then we see it. So we're gonna be on the north bank if we're there. And to be honest, actually the poles fit really nicely for Hungary here, so I'm feeling quite good. But yeah, it looks like many rivers in Germany where you have the vineyards all on the side. Well, Lake Balaton is the exact same for Hungary. And I suppose if we look around, we can see, yeah, winery POIs here. With that glass of wine, you should definitely look for those for aiding your guess whenever you see like a big bunch of vineyards in your location. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good here. And it is just a bit further down there. So that's obviously a great start here. Next one here. And immediately Mexico vibe here with the tree yucca and with the prickly pear cactus. Okay, let's think about other countries that are possible. Actually, I think with this two combination, we have to be in Mexico. But there are still options for where in Mexico. For example, the most likely outcome would be the states of SLP and Nuevo Leon, but you do get some prickly pear plus yucca combinations in Puebla, for example, so that's a fairly large distance of variation. So let's think, we're on a hill and we look out northeast, which is very flat, but with some mountains in the background. Let's say we were around Ciudad Victoria. So could we get into the hills, yeah, and then look down and see extra hills to the northeast? I mean, what I've just looked at right now looks actually kind of perfect, but would that actually be correct? Probably not. It's probably more likely to be like inside these ridges where you can be on a hill and look at the next hill pretty commonly. I don't know, man. The one I just clicked on was so like tempting though. It for some reason just looks right. Low key, because we're only on a good score, I'm gonna go for this. And okay, it was completely wrong, but it's a good enough score anyway. So we're still chilling. And the next one here looks like New Zealand. This is an interesting landscape, you know? We've got this fence with the kind of more spread out posts. That's more typical for the South Island here. I feel like this is actually the South Island. We look north at some very mild hills. Now, typically in the South Island, the mountains are a bit more dramatic, but I feel like we are still there. Down towards Dunedin, you get these milder hills, so we could be looking potentially north at these ones. I feel like these are a bit too big even, but I don't mind the idea. We could be like on this road, we'd be coming through on Law Road down to the main road, and then we'd look onto these hills. It honestly looks pretty decent. I could see Dunedin here. Other options, maybe inside this valley here. That's also definitely possible. What's this one? The Amuri Plain. We could be in the Amuri Plain, I think. Could see that. Could see that. That's a big difference. Like, we want to future-proof ourselves for round 5. So I'm just trying to think what's actually safe to do. I don't know. With all these hedges, it probably is actually better to hedge north. No pun intended. But yeah, you see a ton of hedges around the city of Christchurch. So I feel like I will probably opt for this idea here. Yeah, I feel like this is just safer to guess here towards Christchurch. So I'll do that. And it was exactly those hills. And we were on Law Road. That's a bit depressing. Would have been a pretty sick 5k. The hedge was not the play. And we still need points here. Wait, guys. Did I just screw myself up? Hopefully not. Okay, next round here. 2024 copyright. Useful. We just have to lock in. Oh my gosh. I'm cringing. I'm cringing right now. So it's either Peru or Argentina with the double yellow lines. Position of the sun would be nice here. It's definitely towards the north for sure, but whereabouts, that's harder. The sign in the background is interesting. Gave me more Arge vibes, but I don't know what's up with this bollard, to be honest. That's kind of my concern. Okay, so if we need a score of, what is it? 3.2k roughly. We are kind of like, if we were plonking here, then that would kind of, I feel like that's kind of like this radius. So we're not out of the woods yet. East, we see mountains. So that's already a super valuable piece of information. Immediately makes Argentina more likely than Peru, where I would say the mountains are rarely directly east and rarely so visible across a flat plain anyway. They're more so going to be like, when you're looking, they're going to be more northeast of you when you're just like side onto them like we are. So yeah, I feel good about Arge, and I think it's not going to be Hui Hui, because Hui Hui normally red soil, and the mountain size, it does feel pretty good for like where I've clicked. Worst case scenario, it's really San Juan, so we can even hedge it up a bit. Why not? I feel like this is just like the exact guess that gets us over the line. Just, may I add, because of that New Zealand, but I'm pretty sure we're good here. I'm not even going to line anything up. I think this is just the correct hedge. And okay, that was Cordoba. I forget that there's a whole ravine here, but I'm pretty sure we have done it. Yeah, just, oh my gosh, guys. Yeah, that New Zealand is actually going to give me, or would have given me nightmares if we didn't end up making it, but I pretty much made kind of the worst possible guesses on the Mexico, the Argentina, and the New Zealand, and we still made it, so that's good here. And we've got widespread growth here. We need a 21.5 thousand, and this one is also on no moving. Okay, let's get it here. Potentially going to be a bit harder, but also we can look around. Okay. So we got the white Google car here potentially. We have like, I want to say orange trees or like citrus trees here. Background is fairly green. That might be a church there. Perhaps a mosque, it's possible. We've got like a cabbage tree, a palm tree, very green and big mountain here. I mean, this structure felt Southeast Asian to me, but I couldn't be sure. And so did this structure, also feel Southeast Asian to me, to be honest. Okay, mountains to our southwest as well, and that's kind of all she wrote, I would say. Okay, so sun is going to be important here. Sun is to our south, so solidly northern hemisphere here. We can be confident on that, I would say. The Google car is creeping me out here. Like, it should be, if it's like Philippines, it should be a plain white color, but it's not. So maybe we're up in Mexico then. That could make sense, actually. Mountains southwest would be exactly what I expect to see in the zone where they grow fruit and citrus and stuff around Jalapa. So yeah, that checks out. But what about these Asian looking structures though? That's the problem here. We actually cannot afford to go wrong continent here. That is absolutely not an option. So I'm gonna have to sit here and think. I mean, actually look at these fences. They look really good for Latin America. So that I like, plus the sun. Okay, we're starting to cook. The sun is south. We've got a Latin American fence. We've got citrus trees and we've got a church. I think it's a church. So North mountains are small. So maybe something like that. Southwest mountains are big, so something like these. And we got the light blue car, which I do think exists around Jalapa, I think. And weird palms, which always exist in Mexico. So look, I mean, obviously we'll continue the video if I happen to be wrong continent here and test out the maps, but let's just find out here. I think it's correct. Okay, beautiful. 25 kilometers away. Took some real logic work there, but that's exactly the start you need when you're chasing such a high score. Okay, next one here, 2023 with a gray car, and we have Thai pole tops here, or Thai lampposts and the dots through the pole that you see in Thailand. Okay, we're planting stuff again here. The name of the map is widespread growth. So it's one of these ones with the theme again. Yeah, the soil is very red. What is this crop? Is it mango trees? I feel like this is mango trees, but I'm not sure where they're most commonly grown, but we do have sugar too. To be honest, the extremely red soil does remind me of the east of the country, but I'm not getting the vibe strong enough. So I think this is a middle hedge. I think this is actually just a middle hedge. We don't see any mountains, so that's not going to help us. I think we could just go Chai Pum here. I think we do. I think that's where my heart's calling. And it was that area. Actually, Concane, we're just over the border, but that is a great score. Okay, we went from just making it in last time. This time we're looking comfortable, but you know, that's because it's no moving, I guess. Here we're in an oil field, so those are always a little bit scary. We've got the black Google car, I would say here. It's actually a weird Google car. It could be the brown one. Wait, it could be the Malaysian brown car, to be honest. Okay, let's see if we see any poles, because they are what help the most in Malaysia. We've got rubber trees, and we have this thing alone. I have no idea what that is, but the mix of rubber trees and palm oil does make sense for Malaysia, I would say. Sun there is to the south, so northern hemisphere. That's also checking out for Malaysia as opposed to like southern Sumatra, so that's good. And apart from that, yeah, I'm thinking we're kind of good here, potentially. I mean, normally the rubber trees would be more to the north of the country, but I am a little bit apprehensive about committing that much here. But you know what? We didn't commit on New Zealand and it cost us. So my thinking is here, we do a bit of a commit. We go Kelantan here. Let's give it a go. Okay, it was more towards the middle. I should have just done that, but it is a good enough score. It is definitely a good enough score. And the next one here is also looking pretty gettable, as we are going to be in, I would say, Turkey. We have lots of fruit trees again here, which has been, you know, the common theme of the map. And we have East Mountains, which are pretty sizable, may I add. South Mountains exist as well, but out to our west and to our northwest and to our north, it is flat. All right, so quick copyright check 2022. Where do they grow stuff? I have to channel my inner Gelotris here. My first thought was just around Osmania. That, I think, is a pretty good shout with East Mountains. The problem is to our northeast, they kind of just stop. Unless they're much further back, yeah, I don't see them. So that potentially an issue here, potentially, but it's a very hazy day. So to our south directly, we also see them. If we were right here in Osmania, potentially, I could see it. And then west is just dead flat. Well, that definitely checks out. On a hazy day, you would not be able to see any mountains over there. Wait, do you low-key see a kind of darkness over the horizon? I feel like northwest, those are those mountains. Maybe. And it's just a very hazy day. So that's a big city north. I mean, I was kind of hoping that would be Osmania, but it's definitely north of us, so it's a little concerning to me. Maybe Kaldiri. Maybe Kaldiri. No, but then we'd be able to see the North Mountains for sure if we're in Kaldiri, so we have to be more towards Osmania, to be honest. Okay, let's consider other options here. So Gaziantep does actually technically work here, I would say, which is not something I really would have thought, but yeah, I'm pretty sure Gaziantep does not grow this many crops. I think if we're wrong, it's more like towards Konya or something. Konya does have such an east mountain range. I mean, I specifically remember George just telling me there are only a few dead flat places in Turkey. One around Adana, where I'm thinking it is. One around Konya. I mean, even this, he says, not dead flat. So it's a big commit, but I think I want to go for it. I think this is Adana. What is this city? That's the last thing I got to figure out, because this city actually, like, is big. I'm worried, guys. I can't find where it's... Oh, we're here. It's Adana. We're looking at these hills, which are smaller. Like, these were pretty small hills. Okay, it all makes sense now. North is flat until probably behind here where we can't even see. West is dead flat, which is perfect, obviously. And south, we should see some hills here. Maybe right on the coast. It's very hard to tell, but we did have some hills south. That's the only conundrum we have to work out here. I would say it's just this one here, the Beloran Hill. I'm going to say so. It just makes too much sense. We're outside Adana here. Go. Thank goodness. Oh my gosh. The screen went white and I thought I got it wrong, but we were correct. And we're in a commanding position here to get it, but there's still work to do on this last round here. Okay. That is a Taiwan pole top. We can slam it. We have enough points, for certain. These divots with the dots in them, yeah, they're definitely fine for Taiwan. So there we go. That is a 23.3 on a relatively difficult seed, may I add. So I'm pretty proud of that one. Definitely the Malaysia and the Mexico were actually the hardest, which we kind of got out of the way at the start. So then it was kind of smooth sailing after that. But 9 minutes later, we are through to 23,000 NMPZ. Okay, this has potential to be very difficult indeed. We could definitely die here, in my opinion. And NMPZ, oh my gosh. Well, I first thought that this was Norway, but on looking further, I believe we're actually looking at Iceland. And yeah, we have yellow bollards. Okay. Every point matters when we have to get 23k. We basically have to replicate what we got in the last game. We have trees and we have southeast mountains. So 2 options with trees. Normally when I see them, I'm thinking about around the capital city, Reykjavik, or kind of this area here, looking at mountains like this. Now, the problem with these mountains is I think they're going to be a bit bigger. So then I could also consider maybe up here, but I think there would be less trees. So all in all, I think a Reykjavik click here does does make sense. And remember, when Rainbolt and JHK made this map, they wanted me to like at least be able to get it, possibly. And yeah, I feel like it would make sense therefore for the location to be around Reykjavik. Yeah, I'm not sure where to click here. I'm not really finding like something that lines up real nice here. Maybe this, like the secret lagoon. We could be looking east southeast at these hills. That could make some sense here. And we got dark green, which in this case is a golf course, but probably indicates there might be trees nearby. And we're guessing near Rainbolt, which has always reminded me of Rainbolt. So I'll go for that here. Ugh, it was east. I just didn't quite believe it. I've looked at this coverage quite a lot, and this just felt like too dry with these trees going orange, but yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It does make sense, but it puts us on real pressure for the next rounds. Okay. Okay, we actually have to work out this mountain. That's not what I wanted to do, but we actually have to work out this mountain. I think it's Washington State or Oregon or Idaho. And with a big mountain west, you would probably be looking at Washington State. Could this be Mount Rainier? Yes, it could be. We have also big mountains more to the southwest in that case, which could be like Mount Adams and like whatever this is, Berry Patch, could be that. So I feel like guessing around the 26 here would make a good amount of sense. I would love to look around here. That is the problem. Okay, so we see just below Mount Rainier to the south of it, we have one smaller peak, and it's kind of quite consistent. So what we're looking at is consistent mountains, smaller peak, which I want to say is that, and then we have like kind of 4 peaks in a row here. That's not so good because Mount Adams is pretty prominent in comparison, I would say. I mean, I still think it's Mount Rainier, because like what else would it be? What if we were down this way? Well, it could be Mount Hood actually. Wait, Mount Hood actually might even look better here. And then the next one's Mount Jefferson, or when we have like a string of them here, the Three-Fingered Jack, Mount Washington, and South Sister. I feel like that's actually better, isn't it? Okay, like Redmond. We could be in Redmond area here. It's not too bad, but is it actually Mount Jefferson we're looking at? Wait, the shape of it is pretty good, I want to say. That would be to our north. So it'd be like around Prineville, but it feels very flat where we are. Here's the problem, like we're quite far away from these mountains, but I would want to click around here, but that's all national forest. So we kind of have to be here, but again, that's just like looks very flat where we are. So we have to be in a very specific place. We should be above Three-Fingered Jack on my calculations. So in here, this actually looks good. So here's my thing. We got Mount Jefferson, then we've got Three-Fingered Jacks. I think that's that. Then we've got Mount Washington. I mean, it would be that one, I guess. It doesn't look like a proper mountain though. And then we've got South Sister, and that's kind of, these look like that. So yeah, I'm actually kind of confident. I feel like the mountains just look correct here, which is not something I'm used to getting correct, but I mean, I'm gonna look silly if I'm wrong, but I feel like I'm right. I think we give it a go here. The points matter a lot. So hopefully I've cooked up a storm and not a mess here. Let's see. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I definitely was not able to do that in the past, but that was important mountain guessing, and the important mountain guessing is gonna continue here because we are in Chile with what kind of coverage here? 2025 coverage, brand new stuff here. So, oh, I don't like this one though. We still do have, what, how many points to work with here? 1,000 points in the bank after our Iceland blunder. But it means that we have to be in the right vicinity on this round. Okay, so Temuco, I was not really thinking so much. I think it's a little further south or north than there. Gosh, guys, this is gonna be painful. So we have heavy gorse here, which is definitely associated with more southern places, for example, like Tasmania and New Zealand. So maybe you do want to consider this area out here. We're going east, northeast into mountains, which are not too tall, but the mountain to our northeast in the background is pretty tall, but it's not like a volcano. It's more like this kind of formation, I would say. I'm just thinking the whole Puerto Montt idea doesn't really work so well unless we're like here, but again, we would need water to our north. I mean, it's possible that we have water to our north and we just can't see it, but not loving that idea. Valdivia. Honestly, the shape of the mountains does definitely work, but I feel like it's kind of the same all up and down. I'm really struggling to think how I'm going to do this one. I really am. The Iceland is just too brutal, man. Okay, maybe I just go here. Maybe there is hidden water here. I mean, we definitely don't see any mountains behind it, so I like that aspect because direct north, yes, no mountains. Northeasterly, though we do see them. It actually kind of looks good for where I'm clicked right now. I can't even lie. I think I'm just going to go for that. Is this a yellow road on the map? Probably. And then we should be coming up to a town. It could be this one for all I know, definitely. It could also definitely not be, but I just don't think I'm going to be able to line something up better than this, guys. Let's have a quick look look around here, I think the shape of the mountains where we're clicked is actually better. They're kind of more dramatic here compared to more, like a bit milder here and a bit drier as well, where these are very green. So yeah, I do kind of like it actually. I feel like we can actually stay alive with this guess. It could also be Ensenada. That I also kind of like, but to be honest, we're fairly close. So I'm gonna go for it here. Let's see. Ooh, it's enough to stay alive. That's good. So yeah, I was right. The southern looking mountains was the right vibe. The gorse made sense for further south. We have about 600 points, 700 points to stay alive with here. I like this one. This is South Africa and it feels gettable. We have a north defined ridge here and it looks so much like Lesotho, right? But it's Gen 4 camera, so it can only be South Africa. Okay, Pietermaritzburg, the first place to check. It's a huge city and I'm thinking it's probably not there. Wait. Could this be this city? It does look like this city, but I think this city, the north ridge here would have to be bigger. So it's not going to be there, but I like that general idea. Maybe like this city here. We're going to be on a yellow road. We're going to be going north, slightly northwest on a road that heads towards a huge north ridge, which is going to be even more defined than this. So I think we can say it's not that one. Pietermaritzburg. It does look decent. Anything in Durban itself? Not so much. It's going to be very obvious on the map, guys. I tell you, it's going to be very obvious. Maybe this town here. See, that could be more like it. Very defined ridge. Yeah, I think it's going to be like these towns over here. The problem is I think we're on a yellow road. So maybe we would be like here. Does it have an off-road? Not really, but it could be something like that. Really don't mind that. We would see more houses off to our left though. But something like that. Because look, you see what I'm saying? In the background here, we have the actual Lesotho border, which is a huge ridge, essentially. Oof, it's tough, man. Langkoof, yeah, this is another option over here. I think the mountains, it's not too bad here, actually. I think it's too flat down here. I feel like this is more of a sloping valley that we see in real life here compared to this, which is more of a flat valley. Yeah, this city, I've guessed this city correctly before, but I feel like the angle here is just not quite right. We could be on this white road. It's not out of the question. Yeah, nah. I'm gonna say no. Ooh, what about this? Clarence? So now I'm looking above Lesotho. Clarence. This city, the city is like tucked into the huge, like, what would you call this? Like cliff line, and I feel like that's wrong. Whereas this one, it's just more consistent, I would say, with what we want, and it kind of wraps around in the correct way. You see, like to our northwest, there's mountains, and to our kind of our northeast, and it kind of makes a ridge, a flat ridge. So I think I like it the best, but the problem is if we're wrong, we're probably done. No, we have 700 points. It can be any side of Lesotho, and we can survive in theory. But yeah, I kind of feel good, and could it be the 5K is the question. Maybe we'd be right there if it was. Oh, it actually so could be. Exiting full screen. Like, I wish we could see if there was an off-road here because I feel like we're just ahead of it. I think the problem is we just don't see the houses here, but maybe they're just missing on the map. I'm not sure. I'm gonna go for it. Let's find out. Oh, it was this city the whole time. No, the exact one I thought of straight away. Oh my gosh, I misread the mountains. Wait, it so looked to me that the mountains just kept going, but why? Let me actually have an investigate here. So if we turn around the corner, the mountains should just disappear, and they just disappear. No, man. I was so convinced that this ridge just keeps going. It's actually very cheeky the way Rainbolt and JHK have done that, because look, it just ends as soon as you cross the corner. If I had this view, I tell you I would have got this round. I tell you I would have. But, you know, that's not the way it works, and I think we're still alive here. We are, by 100 points. And I think we can do it. Wait, I think we can do it. So we're looking at a volcano here, and that's to our south. With the concrete road and this pole, we're going to be Philippines. And I think we are looking at, this one's like an old school meta, bro. It's the volcano in this valley, which is this one, right? If we are south on, it's like southeast. So we'd be like around here, like a bit further back. And would that look like that? So we want it to be sticking out a bit more towards the east, but it low-key sticks out more towards the west. Are there other options? Because I feel like that's the only major volcano in this valley. What about in the other valley? It could still be. No, I don't think there's another volcano. Wait, but guys, we actually have to do a distance estimation here. How long would that take me to walk? Like, it's very hard to estimate, of course. It looks like it might be like a 25-minute drive, so maybe a bit further up even, like that. But I mean, like 100 points we can drop. I think we're in the good zone here. I think we're in the zone where we make it, to be honest. In this position, if it's like southeast it is, we'd be here. In this position, we would see mountains west. Maybe, was what I'm saying. Not necessarily, but maybe. And southwest, so say we have like this view, we can see down to here. Yeah, it's hard to say. Okay. Other idea. We're down here. But the problem is this area is never quite as flat. Like, could it be this mountain? Again, you're seeing more stuff going on, I think. Whereas we're just in cornfields here, which makes more sense for up here. Okay, this one. Wait, this one. But again, like, I think we would see hills here. If we were like in Santa Cruz, looking southeast, yeah, maybe, but this I think, too much hill. Okay, and then you do also get volcanoes out here. So let's give a quick look over here as well. So this mountain feels too much going on. This would be closer. I think we could be up here. This one does stick out more nicely to the east, like I said. Like, it looks like you can see the lava float out this direction. We could be looking at Mount Isarog here, for sure. But, big concern. If we're looking south-southeast, we'd be like here, and we would see these hills. We would see Rubens Hill. I think so. The problem is the shape of the mountain is just simply better. So I'm definitely considering Mount Isarog here. This one, I'm gonna say no, and then we're kind of out of options. This one doesn't look like the right shape at all. Okay, so it's between these two. Just like the Oregon round we had, this shape looks really good, so I'm considering it. But I just think the foothills are too big here, I think. And then this one, I mean, to be fair, the lava kind of flowed this way as well. It's hard to tell from the picture. I think I'm committed to this one. I think just the cornfield plus the fact that it's so flat, I do go here. But if it's Isarog, you can't say I didn't try. No, I just think it would look different. I think it would look different. We're committed to this one. Let's go. Let's go, man. 2.6 Ks, and we made it. 23,093 points. I mean, I don't really know what I could have done better on Iceland, though. I don't really know what I could have done better, but I'm glad we got that first round because then we could actually lock in for the others. Okay, 24,000 points, and we are doing no moving once again now. Channel your inner scripter is our message from John and Rainbolt. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, first round. It is looking very interesting. We have a Catholic thing here, and we have the Latin American antenna. It looks probably like it's the Colombian Google car, but it's hard to confirm. Okay, we have lots of tin roofs. These poles are also very strange, by the way. Sun is to the south slightly. We have pine trees as well. Okay, we do have maybe some coffee plantations. That gives me more of an idea of the area, maybe like around here. But yeah, guys, this is tough. We did a lot of work to get here, but I'm feeling apprehensive. Southeast hills here. They're not that big, you know. Something like in here, Jericho or something. The reddish soil does make sense for up towards Medellin. I mean, the poles are super weird for sure. Water tanks. We got a mix of blue and black. I feel like that checks out for Colombia from what I remember anyway. Okay, I think I go for Colombia here. I'm just gonna go with my gut because I really don't have anything better, but realistically, I should probably go a little bit further east here, just to hedge in case we're pretty wrong. Okay, let's give that a go. Oof. That was tough. Now, how was I meant to get this, I wonder? Is there actually some clue? Maybe the poles. The fact that the poles are weird is like a Venezuelan border thing. I'm not sure. I honestly don't know how I would have done this, but that's okay. Okay, let's move on to the next round. I mean, worst possible guess there, basically. I went for a commit, and I had to go for a commit the other side, and that's just really bad. And now we have a gettable round. This is going to be Kenya. It's 2025 copyright. Look at the ghost car here. It's a white car. You can tell by the reflection. We're not going to get a sign. We have very red soil. I mean, this just screams the western part of the country to me, like out towards Eldoret, and it's kind of hilly without being mountainous. To our south, where you may see mountains, we have an obscured view, so we couldn't see these mountains at all. Yeah, this is tough. I'm not optimistic anymore, guys. I can't lie. I would love if we can reset and just get that round last, so at least there was more suspense here, but that was absolutely killer. I think it's time to accept our fate and just go for a guess here. Okay, here's my idea. It looks rather like Rwanda, so I like to click out towards Rwanda when that happens, like as close as I can. And honestly, the houses are square, and I've heard that's a thing for down here, so I'm gonna guess right there. It is all the way down there, and with that, we are out. Oh, wait, what's the name of this map? Channel your inner scripter. Well, they've all been on the border so far, so I would assume that this is also the case here. Well, let's play on. Let's play on. Obviously, we'll play on. I'll guess a bit quicker now, just so we can see what would have happened, because obviously, with 8.9k after 2, we are out of contention, well and truly. Oasis Lodge. I feel like this is maybe out here. Is there an Oasis Lodge here? There are a bunch of, like, lodges, so I like the idea. It looks like they're growing grapes here, which is very strange for Botswana. Okay, I mean, I looked around for the lodge. There are a bunch of lodges through here, but none of them were Oasis Lodge, so yeah. I've never seen them growing grapes in this country before, so that's actually pretty fascinating. Oh, it turns out there are a lot of lodges around the place. Any hills? Not really. Okay, I'll just go for the guess I think I would have guessed this area. And yeah, it was on this. Okay, there we go. Oasis Lodge, Zanzibar. Okay, interesting. I mean, yeah, that's the general area I would have gone. I probably, given the fact that it was a border location so far, I probably would have gone there. I wish I could have figured out the theme on that round instead of on the flippin' Colombia round, but sometimes that's how luck goes, you know? Because if I knew it was borders, if the Colombic round came last, I think we could have gotten it, because I would be like, okay, well, it's just like Venezuela border. It wouldn't make sense for Ecuador border with that landscape, I think, so we could have just gone there. You know what I mean? Unlucky. Unlucky. And this looks like Spain-Portugal border. That looks like a Spanish road sign. And yeah, with the eucalyptus trees should be Portuguese border then. How far north or south? I'm not too sure. I would definitely try to work out what that says. CJ or KJ or something. I mean, it could be EX, Extremadura. I don't think so. It's like KJ or something, which is very strange to me. I was thinking that this was just on the Spanish side, but now I'm honestly less sure than when I started. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna scan. I'm not gonna scan at this stage. I'm gonna go where would this fit for the border the most? Probably like up towards this direction, to be honest. And it was over there. Makes sense? We would have dropped points there, regardless. I think that's quite a difficult round, but gettable. And the final one here is on the border between India and probably Bangladesh. In which part? We got tea growing here. So normally when I see tea, I just click around here. So I would probably guess here. And yeah, I mean, 23.3. We didn't do a bad job there. So Kenya, I really tried and I clicked here, but we dropped like 200 points there and I realized, oh, it's going to be border locations potentially. I'm just talking best possible case here. Then we have the Botswana, and I was always going to go in this pocket anyway, and we realized that, okay, then I'm sure it's borders. Then number 3 we can get for free, so then I'm absolutely sure. Then number 4 I can really scan for. The actual name of the road was the EX. It did say EX. It was Extremadura, so I probably could have worked that out. And then this, well, there's not many border locations, so I feel like we were low-key unlucky here. And that brings us to, of course, the 25k map, which I feel like I may actually just save for another video. If this video gets 5,000 likes, then I will do everything in my power to get the 25k on this map. I will not peek at it until then. So you know what to do. It's a lofty like goal. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching the video all the way to the end. Hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in a video very soon. Till next time, goodbye.